my underwear. Got up and got herself out of there. I see they put me on memes and things. Don't speak on my life without knowing the real. 8 figures a year, what it cost me to live. Don't hold it, just say what you feel. But watch your mouth before I flash your bitch. Word to a place that she didn't.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, it's Dr. J,
and Ashley.
and we back with you with roses and real shit.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button.
Please do.
Like, comment below what you think about this episode,
Yo.
okay?
And so everybody wants to know, Ashley, what are we talking about today?
So I have a question for you.
Question. Hey, that's what I be saying to my students. I be like, they be asking, Dr. J, I got a question. I'm like, question?
Oh my gosh, you
Hey,
are.
hey, but they want to know the question.
Okay, so what would you say has been the most significant change in our relationship, like since from the very beginning?
From the very beginning?
Yeah, like from the very beginning of our relationship till now, what has been the biggest change that has happened?
Ava Rose.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Definitely.
Ava Rose.
Definitely Ava Rose.
Yeah.
And that is in like so many beautiful, awesome ways.
Yeah.
And so...
Beautiful ways, y'all. Beautiful ways.
So, Ava Rose, that's our daughter.
Yeah. Ava Rose.
Hey, don't be putting no baby government name out there.
Okay, never mind. Cut that out.
But, so yeah, Ava is just a joy, and she is just a feisty, little sassy, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And she's so smart.
Yeah.
And yeah, she has been the biggest change that happened to us, because life was different before Ava. It was.
It's like you know how they be like BC before Christ? Well, I got a BA before Ava.
Come on.
Because that's looking back, like that's a totally different life to where it's like, it's crazy that was even my life. I'm like...
I think back on so many parts of my life like that. Like, I can't believe that was like my life.
I can't even... Me either. To where it's, like, when it was just... We got to think about it as far as it was just us two.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, literally, okay, we could do whatever we want. At any time. At any time, we could do whatever we want. If I wanted to... I could just go anywhere
right now.
Yeah, we go somewhere right, but we can't do that now.
No.
We cannot do that right now.
No.
You got somebody sleeping upstairs. I'm like,
yes.
So that in itself is just like makes it not the same at all.
Yeah, and I feel like we've had transitions before. Like, I would say in college, it was we were together, and then it was like no responsibilities whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then you had, when we got married, we moved, and it was that freedom of life.
Yeah.
And then now we're here in this beautiful, season of life. Yeah.
It's crazy, man, bringing kids in. And then that's what leads us to where we have now adapted to new roles.
Yeah.
To where before it was just you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And like back then, it was literally just you and me when we moved to Baton Rouge. So where it was just like, it was just us against everybody else.
Okay.
And then it was just husband and wife. That's what we were. It was just us two.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got these new roles too, where you have become mother and I have become father.
Mhm.
And it's a lot to take in as far as trying to figure out these new roles
Yeah.
that we dealing with. Because this father role is crazy. It's crazy to where it's like every day, if you really think hard enough, it's like, dang, I ain't never thought about that before. To where it's like it changes who you are in a way. And I feel like I don't care what nobody says, like the role of parents change who you are
Mhm.
as a person. To where now it's like, you know, you no longer can think about yourself. And that's what I be thinking about now because the role of father encompasses like provider and caregiver.
Yeah.
And before, you know, it's like as yourself, you don't really be thinking about that because it's like, who cares? Who cares? Like, what? But you have to think about those things
Mhm.
because now you're this role of parent, father, mother. Like, I don't know. How do you think it's impacted you?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely puts a like more responsibility on you because you are developing and influencing directly another human being
Yeah.
that's going to go out into this world. And
Yeah.
that also made me, yeah, I feel like Ava just changed my life completely to the
Yeah.
point where I knew I had to become a different person. Like, just really made me think and reflect on what I had done with the years I've already had. And that, okay, it's time to really get going and do something.
Yeah.
Because someone is going to be looking at everything you've done
Yeah.
and looking at the person you are. So I just knew it was time to get it together.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with you with that. As far as even how when I had Ava, I started to look at time different. To where it's like I ain't never looked at time different my whole entire life. To where I started realizing it's like, well, damn, Marge, are you wasting time with certain things you do?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was, especially when I was working from home and then having to take care of Ava at the same time, it was just like you can't do the certain things you was doing with your time before, because now your time is being taken up by this. So you can't really do those things because you got this person now invading your time. So you have to look. I mean, I'm being for real. I had to look at my time as far as what I was doing. Is it worth that time? Because either it's wasting time or it's not benefiting me at all or her.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, you have to completely look at life in a different way. And that's what I continue to look at that differently to where even every day I have to reevaluate, okay, is this the right thing I should be doing? Is this the thing that, you know what I'm saying? So even how you brought up to where it's like, even what I'm consuming as myself, to where I know it's not impacting me because I know what it is. But to Ava, she doesn't know what this is exactly. So if she consumes it, it's going to transform her in a different way. And I don't want that necessarily impacting their way. You know what I mean? As far as different things that I consume. That's like music wise, like say I'm listening to something like you know, I love hip hop and stuff, but some stuff is just to where it's like I don't know if I necessarily want Ava consuming that type of stuff right now.
Yeah.
I know eventually she might listen to that, but it's just like, you know, popping NBA Youngboy or something like that, I wouldn't want her to necessarily growing up listen to that constantly or something like that.
Yeah, because everything we consume is going to is going to affect us. So, you know, you have to be careful about what you let your children consume.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when artists be saying, you know, I'm not your children's role model, you should be watching what they listening to. That's true. Like, it's up to us parents to make sure that our kids just aren't ingesting anything. Because I see it in the school system. I can see when a kid is constantly being, you know, around certain things because they come
Yeah.
to school and act like that.
Yeah.
Like if they're constantly at home watching Love and Hip Hop and things like that, they're gonna, come to school and be, talking like, girls on there and acting like that in third grade. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you have to be intentional about what you're letting your kids watch. Just like how the boys would, be, acting like
Yeah.
little gangsters. So
Yeah.
it's like you just have to be intentional about what they're watching, no matter how young they are.
Yeah, because it's impactful. I mean, it impacts people even older. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
for real. And that's the thing I had to think about was just like, yo, what am I listening to right now? Not saying that that's wrong to not listen to it. I'm just saying as far as where I'm at and then where she's at, I don't know if I would necessarily want her to listen to this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that she can't listen to that. I'm just saying right now, she doesn't necessarily need to listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you look at things totally different, man. This role of parent,
Yeah.
is so major, and
I feel like the crazy part about taking on the role as a parent is not forgetting the role that you have with your partner. And I think that it's just so important to not forget that. And the post that goes around like, you have to put your relationship first before the kids, and people like kind of misconstruing what that means and thinking that means, oh, we're gonna that putting your man or putting your wife before your kids is locking your kids in a closet and not feeding them and like demeaning them. That's not what it means.
Yeah.
That means if we're not tight and if we're not together, how is the family going to thrive at all?
yeah,
How are we going to be an example for our children on what a relationship and what love and marriage should look like if we're not together and we're not putting our relationship first? Because that's what this family stands on, is our relationship.
yeah,
If we don't have a relationship, the family falls apart because that's the foundation of the family. So it's so important to not forget your role with your spouse
yeah.
when you step into this new role as a parent.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get caught up in that new role.
Yeah.
Cause it's like it's a new role. It's new. You never experienced this in your life, and you don't want to necessarily be bad at it either. I don't know anybody that wants to be terrible at something.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be a terrible father. That's something that I don't want to be. So it definitely makes you want to be the best that you can, or however you think you are trying to be that way. You're trying to be a certain type of character or a good whatever role you're trying to be. And then because your time gets so sucked up in being that new role, yeah, you can definitely forget. Even with Ava, I just feel like it's so being caught up in a parent is so much. It can consume your time to where that's literally the only thing you think, you talk about, and it's not even that you're trying to. That's your nature now because of you have this being that you created, this child.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy. Like I still can't believe it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I'd be like, I have a family.
but that's how it changes.
Yeah.
To where it was just us couple, just the two of us. But the two of us now is with Ava, so so our couple became a family.
Yeah.
So now we're no longer, just at us, two of us. It's like, okay, now y'all a family. To where it's like one other person being involved now.
Yeah.
And it's just different. It changes the whole dynamics as far as even how you guys interact together when they're around. To where it's a lot. It's because that they're seeing everything, so you have to think of it differently. And it's because it's impactful. It's impactful. And then if you even look at your own life, everybody always remembers their mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or even if you didn't grow up necessarily with your mom and dad, you remember how they wasn't in your life. So they
Yeah.
still impacting you in some type of way. So these roles is like impactful on her life. If we like it or not, it's like we have a huge impact on their life.
Yes. Yes.
So it's definitely something to take serious, and that's what that's how it's so easily to get lost in that role.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to, how you said, remember about your other role, because at the same time, I'm a father, but then I'm also a husband.
Yes.
So
yes.
I can't forget that, okay, I'm a husband right now too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just how you said, we got to make sure that we won. Well, we got to make sure we won, because whatever we're showcasing to her is going to be a big, impactful thing. So we need to be on one accord to really see, how are we going to impact this girl? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to build her up? How is she going to be on to be better than what we are?
Yeah.
So man, it's it can be crazy. It can be crazy. It can be crazy for real.
Yeah, definitely. And at the same time, she's seeing me be a wife and even be a mother, and just be an example to her of what it is to be a woman. So it just definitely just like made me want to be better all the way around. And then, especially a better wife. So it's just like, yeah, being able to juggle all those roles. It's it's a lot, but you can do it.
You can.
You can do it.
You can, because we've seen people that do it. Our parents did it. You know what I'm saying? And there's role models. If you don't know anybody out there, then there's a role model for you.
Yeah.
For sure. As far as
And I think one thing that like you can do once you step into the role of being a parent and trying to just find how to get back to your other role is just having some alone time, even if that's just staying up an extra hour, after the kids are asleep, just to talk and just be together. Yeah. Like, it's just important to just have time alone that kind of just gives you that nostalgic feeling of when it was just the two of you.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you got to find a babysitter or a family member or something like that, that long time is a definite reminder. It's like, okay, all right, you're remembering everything as far as life, what it was not without that person. But yeah, that's and then you'll be surprised too. We be surprised whenever so many people want to watch Ava too.
Yeah.
So,
it's a blessing.
yeah, I always take that. Take that. What? Take that. And then one thing I will also say too is that you gotta make sure that you embrace your new role. Because of just how you said, like, everything has changed, and life is always changing. But sometimes we don't like change. So it could be, no matter what, it could be hard or something like that. It's going to be hard with your new role. Even with me, it's hard being a father because I've never done it before. And it's a lot. You just constantly learning something new, or it's like, well, if you did it right or if you didn't do it right, you don't really know until you really know. Until they're older or something. But it's just like, it's one of those things to where you just got to embrace it. You really have to embrace your role, and you can't be mad at the new role, if that makes sense. As far as, like, I don't know, and then this is just me, it's just like, you just have to embrace the new role, because if you don't embrace it, then you're going to impact someone's life who doesn't. And then this goes to communication starting young with your, daughter, son, whatever, your offspring, is that because they won't understand why, you know what I'm saying, you didn't embrace the role. So, and then that leads to confusion on their end, and then resentment. So it's like, you embracing the role is for not only yourself, because if you embrace it, you can really love it, but it's also for that person that you made. And so it comes and depending on the type of person you are, you know, you either gonna embrace it or you're not.
Yeah, and then there's some people that they don't embrace the role in the beginning, and they kind of like don't, you know, take that accountability and responsibility for their children, and then, you know, their children end up growing up and they, you know, want to come back into the picture and stuff like that, and so, and they regret not being there in the beginning, and not, you know, stepping into the role the way they should have.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Yeah, that's true. So, y'all, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that these titles are real? I don't or what? Like, let us know what y'all think as far as if you are a parent, how has that impacted your life?
Yeah, how has that impacted your life and your relationship with your partner?